Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of The Healing Fanatic. I am Aaron Nicolaitis, otherwise known as Dr. A. And today is going to be kind of fun. Hang in there with me because I want to go and just start talking about something that is coming across my world a lot right now in my clinical practice and with my clients. And it's kind of interesting. I'll say this, that themes appear sometimes week to week, and sometimes month to month. Sometimes people have heard that there's a moon cycle where the shit hits the fan every moon cycle, and there's something to be said that's very true about that. I have noticed that over a couple of decades of work, but I'm also starting to notice specific themes that people are experiencing that come in during the week. And one of the most recent themes that my clients were really struggling with is the concept of judgment, being judged, labeled. And I want to start off, and as you know, I like to do things interactive as much as possible, even though I'm not live. Maybe someday I'll do a live podcast, and that could be kind of fun. But I want to ask you a question, and I want you to really ponder this deeply. Have you ever been judged to your core? And who was the person doing it? How were you judged? And what effect did that have for you as a person? Have you ever been judged? Think about that for a minute. I would say most people have. And I believe the world that we live in right now is completely full of it. Could take that two ways, I guess, but full of judgment. We look around us and think we are so critical. We are breaking things down. Our world is trying to separate us, straight up separate us as humans, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's sexuality, whether it's gender. The world is trying to separate us into judgment, meaning that my bias, my personal opinion is the only thing that matters, and the rest of you are wrong. And if you don't live the way I want you to live, you're screwed or going to hell. It's true. How many of you have been judged? And I want you to ponder that, what that felt like and what that did for you in a negative way. Okay, as we go through this. So let me share an example. Recently, and when I bring up clients, just know that I change enough information and details to not being able to identify them and blah, blah, blah. So just listen to the story. I had a client come in recently who, over their life, had continually been told that they were stupid. Continually told. Okay? So pretty soon, they started to believe it. They started to believe their world was surrounded by people telling them that, whether that was a school teacher, whether that was someone at work, friends. They seem to keep hearing that message over and over again by others. Now, this person was beginning to struggle with a lot of self-esteem problems, right? Very damaging. They didn't think they were good enough. They didn't think that they were smart enough. Okay, that began to make a physical appearance with them. They began to not take good care of their physical body. They weren't showering very well. They began to be more depressed, have more anxiety, not have a very good positive outlook, almost like they're just living in survival mode. If you haven't listened to the first episode, please go listen to that, because I talk about living in survival mode versus living in living mode. And anyway, you should really go listen to that podcast. So back to today. So today, I want to really emphasize the power of judgment and what that looks like. And what the frick are we thinking? I want us all to just take a breath for a minute and realize the power of when we judge somebody based on a personal bias, regardless of what it is. Okay? What is the opposite of judgment? What is the opposite of what you would rather have felt or said to you when you were struggling in life? Let's say, like, for example, right now, yeah, I'm based in Utah. Most people around the country or around the world may recognize Utah as the capital of the LDS Church, the Mormon Church. They'll get upset when I say that, so I better phrase it properly so that they don't judge me. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay, whatever. Again, just that judgment right there of not saying it right is hilarious. Anyway, the judging that can happen within a religion. And I'm not going to talk about that particular religion in general, but I'm going to say religion as a whole. Let me take this. Now, whether you're in a religion or not, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. But I do have an issue when people put their happiness and how they live their life onto other people. And if they don't do it according to their standard, they're failures. They suck. They're not good enough. They can't come into my home. In fact, if you're not a member of this church, you can't play with my child. You can't associate with them. You can't go on a date with them. How dare you even think about marrying someone outside the religion? And that could be Jehovah's Witness, that could be Baptist, that could be, it doesn't matter, whatever. Now, are all people like that? No, not at all. But those that are causing extreme damage. And I have some serious problems with this from my perspective as a mental health therapist and a practicing healer who wants to help people feel better and find their joy and happiness. Okay. I've had countless clients, come in who have been judged because they don't agree with a standard or principle within their religion. They are judged. Let me share a personal story. Probably back 20 plus years ago, I was going through a severe part of my life of depression, severe depression, anxiety ridden. I could not function. I could not work. I was suicidal. Okay. I didn't know what was wrong at that time. I was making visits to the emergency room, trying to figure out why I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was having a heart attack. Okay. I was in the darkest moment of my life, the very darkest moment of my life, and struggling. I felt judged by those around me because, oh, why are you depressed? You just got to be stronger. You're a man. Man up. Have more faith. I was told specifically that the reason I was having anxiety and depression was because I didn't have enough faith, that I didn't have a strong enough connection to God. I was judged. And do you know what that judgment did for me? Made it worse. What I needed was love. What I needed was acceptance and understanding. What I needed was empathy. I did not receive that. I had to go find that. I went to found some therapy and I got some help. So when I'm a therapist now, I can truly understand where people are coming from when they say I'm depressed or I'm suicidal or I want to use drugs or I want to use alcohol or we will find things to escape that pain no matter what. That's what we do as humans. Okay. Judgment of others will lead you further away from empathy, from charity, from what is called unconditional love. My opinion is very few people in this world have ever experienced unconditional love. Very few. Because it's based on condition. With condition comes judgment. Now, people might say, oh, but Aaron, you think pedophilia is good? It's not what I'm saying. Slow down, take a deep breath. I'm not condoning crime. I'm not condoning crime. But am I judging the behavior? Damn right I am. Yeah, that behavior is not okay. Certain behaviors are not okay because they hurt other people physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. I have issues with that. Okay. I have a lot of teenagers right now, a lot of teenagers who are suffering. Suffering because they don't feel like they fit in with either friends, they're exploring their sexuality, they don't fit in with their religion, and they are actually experiencing trauma. It is so powerful of an emotion of feeling judged and not accepted that it is driving them to feel traumatized. Meaning that emotion is so intense that it is changing the way they think, changing the way they behave, and suicide rates are going up. Our society has a major problem, and I have a major problem with this. And I think as I ponder about this topic, one of the biggest problems is judgment. Can we just stop for a second, just 1 second, and acknowledge people have the right to be happy in their way? Who cares if it's your way? Why do we have to put our happiness onto somebody else? Now, am I passionate about this subject? Yeah, I am. And this is going to be an intense podcast, right? Because I'm so frustrated with other people telling other people how to be happy and judging that. And if they don't do it their way, they're wrong. Okay, I don't care anymore. What's going to happen is in society, we're going to have a big divide, which is happening right now. Okay, and this almost seems like generational. Like the baby boomers are having over here, the Gen X's are here, the millennials, Gen Z. Okay, they all see things in a very, very different way. And for some reason, each generation thinks they're the best. So if we're the best, then everyone else has to be lower than us. They can't be as good as us, or they're wrong. Yet that's the opposite of growth. That is the opposite of how society grows and learns. It's these outliers that push the limits that help us. It's by us stepping out of our comfort zone that helps us. So many of us are afraid. So many of us live in fear of our own status and love that what we do is we project that onto other people. In other words, I don't have my own self-esteem, and so I'm doing this. I'm doing A, B, and C, and that makes me feel good. So you have to do that too. Or you have to go to school. And I'm only going to pay for your school if you get this degree. I'm only going to pay for think about this. I'm only going to pay for your school if you do what I want you to do. What the hell is that? That is so damaging. I am seeing it a lot in my office right now. And it's heartening. It's just wrenching to see these people suffer because they just want love. They just want acceptance. This is all they want. This is why people get into radical groups. Those who are extreme, I don't care of what you're talking about. The extreme, they're looking for something. They're missing something. And a lot of it is acceptance. They have to scream from the rooftops. They have to go do violence. They have to do a lot of things to feel like their voice is being heard. That is someone who is suffering from judgment. That is someone who is suffering from being abandoned, or someone who is severely depressed because of whatever. Okay. Now, there are some really, really harmful consequences to judgment. I already talked about one, self-esteem. Okay. The other one is communication barriers. How do people expect to communicate if they are on opposite sides of this issue? Okay. And they're both judging each other as wrong. Judge, boom, boom. Communication breaks down and it gets worse over time. Okay. Communication is impaired. It has problems. Okay. Or the fear of judgment from other people prevents me from even expressing myself because I know if I say what I want to say and feel, that you're going to hate me, that you're going to reject me, even for having a different opinion or a viewpoint. You can't even talk. Why is it so hard for people just to allow people to have their opinion? Rather than hear it and go, oh, that's not how I see it. That's not the way I was raised. Well, no one cares how you were raised. You're entitled to your opinion, but so am I. And so are your kids, and so are your friends, and so is your spouse, and so is your neighbor. Everyone is. But we don't do that. We would rather sit in judgment because we feel safe. We feel safe. We put this wall around us, this big wall of safety. It's called judgment. Okay. You can only pass into my wall and my safety zone if you abide by my rules. And if you think like I want you to think, and if you only do what I want you to do, otherwise, yeah, no, I'm going to judge you. And I'm not even going to judge you. I'm not only going to judge you to your face, I'm going to talk behind your back. I'm going to talk about you to others on how disappointed I am in you. Okay? That is filth. And that is just wrong when it comes to mental health and humanity in general. That is the exact opposite of love. Those who profess to love the most typically don't, because their love is based on condition. If you do this, I will love you. If you do that, I will love you then. But if not, nope, no go. I can't accept you. Again, I want to go back to the question that I asked you originally at the start. How many of you have been judged, and what did that feel like? Now I want to ask you another question. Here's the question. How many of you are judging other people today? How many? How many of you are looking at other people and just not accepting for them to actually believe what they want to believe? What are you so in fear of? What are you so scared of other people thinking that it's damaging your own life? Ponder that, okay? Because I think we all, myself included, can take another step back and really realize what this world needs. Music has been written about this for decades. All we need is love. It's true. It's so true. Many people are living in such fear of what other people will think that they sacrifice their own self and joy in life. And that is sad. But to me, this younger generation is starting to burst that bubble. This younger generation excites me. It truly excites me because they're the ones who are going to buck this tradition. It's an ingrained tradition of judgment. They're going to tell you where to go. Previous generations, now not all, okay? This isn't like an all or none discussion, but the majority. The majority are living in fear because of judgment, because they were judged. They were told that if they didn't do this and this, that they'd be in trouble or go to hell. Okay? And people are saying, but it's true, Aaron. Okay, that's your judgment. Keep it to yourself. Your job is to love. I don't care if you believe that or not. You're entitled to that. Fine with me. But I don't welcome your judgment. I don't welcome your judgment at all. I will welcome your compassion and empathy and your acceptance as a human being willing to have this experience of life. And if I make mistakes, that allows me to grow. That's what allows me to grow and learn. Why are you so afraid of making mistakes sometimes? Who told you that it was wrong to make mistakes? Who told you that it wasn't okay to grow and learn? Okay. The other thing is I want to talk about is I talked about self-esteem and communication problems. The other thing is it just reinforces these stereotypes. This labeling gets harder and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the divide widens. And we're doing it almost daily. It's as if the world around us, the media, the movies, everybody around us is trying to tell us about that we have to divide. We have to judge. We have to take a side. Why do I have to take a side? Well, because you have to, Aaron. No, I don't. No, I don't have to take a side. I can be neutral. I can take the middle path. I can avoid that, okay? Because stereotypes are huge, okay? I believe in diversity. I believe that everyone has their own experience. I'm okay with that. Just don't tell me how to live my life. I'm not telling you how to live yours. Okay? When my clients often come to me, one of the things we talk about is, what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want to be happy? What does that look like for you? And as we begin to pursue those things and talk about those things and heal previous judgments and traumas, it becomes clearer for them what that means. And then at some point, they become bold enough to put boundaries up with other people who are judging them, and just either cutting down communication, cutting down the time spent with them, or cutting them off altogether. Because there are toxic people that just spew judgment. To me, judgment is just vomit. It's like energy vomit. And it's just damaging. Okay. And the last thing I want is to talk about that growth. I had mentioned growth aspect a little bit, but when we are judged by others or a situation, that's when that closed-mindedness comes in. We can only function inside of this little box. Okay. Well, inside this little box is your life. That's your standard, that's your belief systems, and that's the way you view the world. Everyone has their box. Everybody has their box. The funny thing is no two boxes are the same, because everyone's experiences in life are unique and different. Now, they can be relatively close, but a lot of them are not the same. We come from different backgrounds. We had different childhoods. We had different friends. We played different sports. I played music. We just have different things, and we have different biases, prejudices, things that we like. Okay. Isn't my growth up to me to decide how I want to grow? And sometimes that takes stepping outside that box, stepping away and not caring what other people are going to think. Now, believe me, I struggled with this. I struggled with this for a long, long time, until one day I'd had enough. I had had enough anxiety. I had had enough of worry about what other people are thinking. I was sick. I was mentally, physically sick. I was going downhill fast. If I didn't make a decision to change and to step outside of that box, what other people's box they wanted me inside of, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. And many people feel the same way. Many people are committing suicide. Many people are hurting. Many people are turning to addiction and overdosing on fentanyl, meth, heroin, whatever. It's on the rise. We have to take a stance against this, but that starts with us. I have to be okay. I have to be okay with being okay. I have to feel like I deserve it. I have to feel like I'm lovable. When we judge others, when I was judged, I didn't feel like I was worthy. I believed I wasn't worthy of love. I believed I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. And that was a lie. Now that's on me. I believed their lie because of where I was at. But I don't believe that lie anymore. I don't. And guess what? My panic attacks have been gone for a very long time. My depression has been gone for a very, very long time. And it feels good to live. And I'm getting better. Now, am I where I'm going to be at? No, but I'm growing. I'm stepping outside of my box, and my box is getting bigger and bigger. My world expression is getting bigger and bigger. It's getting larger by the week at this point. And I love where my life is going. I love it. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the opposite for a second, which is the opposite of judgment to me is unconditional love and empathy. Now, we do have to be aware. My first idea for you would be, just be aware of your biases. What are your preconceptions about somebody or something? Reflect on the reasons behind your judgments and begin to challenge them. Take time to do some introspection. Take time to think, why do I think the way I do? Why do I have problems with other people living their life the way they do? Why? Like it's harming me? Sometimes it is. And if that's the case, then the other drastic measures have to be taken. But I'm not talking about that. Okay? Take some time to ponder. Why do I think this? How can I be more loving? Okay. But before you can do that, you have to know where you're at. But that takes being honest. Who am I? Where do I feel? What do I think? Okay. What shaped my opinions? What shaped my prejudices, my biases? What did that? Now, how do we cultivate empathy? How do we cultivate unconditional love? Well, first we have to start with ourselves. We have to realize that it's okay, that we are okay. Regardless of what's happened to us, and where we've been in life, I don't care how old we are. I could be 5 years old, I could be 90 years old. We can evaluate where we've been, and then we can evaluate even more and begin to have empathy for other people. Do you know who some of the most empathetic people in the world I know are? Think about this. Before I answer that, next question for you. What or who is one of the most unconditional people? Who is it that you know? Do you know anybody who's unconditional? That'll love you no matter what you do or say? Do you know anybody like that? Or is their love on condition? I really want to know. How many of you actually know somebody who has unconditional love in your personal life? If you do, I bet you can count them on about one or two fingers. If you have more than that, let me know. You're lucky. I would love to hear that story. Most people can't even find one because they've never experienced it. Okay, but we can. We can lessen our judgment by being curious. Like, help me explain why you think that. Begin to engage in conversations. People are quick to, like, for example, people are quick to judge those in addiction. Oh, you sinner. Oh, you fool. Why, you're just an alcoholic. You don't know anything. How about we stop and just begin asking questions of curiosity, like, what happened? What led you to this? Would you like something different? Begin asking questions, and just accepting and love where they're at. In my world, in my belief, and it's getting stronger and stronger, is that true love wants to do that. True love wants to heal those around them. And healing comes from love. There is such a powerful energy, a real energy behind the heart love. The intention of loving you unconditionally. I believe that. I strongly believe that. Okay. Now, the other thing is when we're talking to people, we have to really be careful how we communicate that. And one way I think is just encouraging open and honest dialogue, free from judgment. Create an environment where people could just express themselves and have a different opinion rather than go, ooh, did you hear what so-and-so said? Can you believe they said? Shut up. Listen. And it doesn't matter. Stop the judgment. Just listen and love. Okay? They've had experiences that you haven't had. Understand that. People have had experiences that you haven't had, which shaped them. Had you gone through those experiences, do you know what probably the outcome would have been? Probably the same as theirs. So stop. Stop judging. Okay? I don't care if their opinions or their perspectives differ from your own. Have a conversation about this. My daughter and I, my youngest daughter, and I just recently had this discussion right here about the judgment that she can feel because she's a Gen Z. Okay, what does she feel? What does she see happening? What are the benefits of that generation? What are they doing to these judgments of society? How are they approaching it? Okay, I love that kind of communication. It doesn't have anything to do with whether I agree with her or not. I want to know what her experience is, because the way she grew up and I grew up, completely different. So her experiences have shaped her perspectives. And I find that fascinating. I love the diversity of people, of humanity. I love it. I think I get to see it every day in my office with clients. and with those who I associate with in my community. I love it. Okay. The last thing I want to bring up that we can do is be very mindful and show compassion. Understand that people have been hurt and that it's okay to be sad, but it's okay to move through it. Be aware of your own emotion. Be aware that not only can we practice that self-compassion, but we can extend it to those closely to us. Okay? When we see judgment, I think we should call it out and say, whoa, back off, relax. It's their experience. Okay? Please understand that everyone in life is navigating their own experiences, their own challenges, their own growth. Everyone's challenging, they're doing that on their own. Judging them during their growth is completely unnecessary and negative to their journey. Everyone, in my opinion, is trying to find happiness. Everyone is trying to find that joy, that love, that thing that fulfills them. They're searching for that. Why can't we allow people to do that? So what if it goes against societal rules? I'm not talking about legal stuff, okay? What if it's not the norm? Like, ooh, that's weird. But yet there's cultures all over the world and they differ. Asian culture is different than Polynesian cultures. Cultures are different. Why does our culture have to be the right culture? The one that's supreme? It doesn't matter what country we live in. Why can't we just accept cultural differences as they are and that they have a right to pursue their own happiness? Why do we have to go, ooh, that's weird? Weird to you, but it's not weird to them. So stop. Stop with the judgment. Our last thing should be, at the end of the day, I love you enough that whatever you find joy in is what I want you to do. Because then you will function better in life. You will be a better human being. You will be a better partner, a better spouse, a better child, a better friend, a better employee, boss, whatever. Whatever your roles that you play in, we will function better when we are allowed to find our joy, our happiness, and live it to its fullest. Those of us who judge it as wrong, we're the ones with the issue, not them. We will always be the one guilty because I'm the judger. I'm the one judging. Okay? If they are finding true joy and peace and they're functioning and they're kind and they're loving to other people and they're charitable, what does it matter to you? And people will say, well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, but they're going to walk out the door and start judging people by the way they look, by the way they dress, by the way their hairdo is, by the color of their hair, how many tattoos they have. Stop. Just stop and love. Please send energy and love to everyone around you. Love them. Because when you do, when we all begin to embrace, we can just love people for who they are, the world around us will change. It will change. I have witnessed this. Okay? Now, I apologize for going on a rant today, but this was a huge topic, judgment, that I wanted to talk about. And hopefully I didn't piss off too many people, but my goal was to bring some awareness. How am I doing with judgment? How am I doing with love and compassion? Am I living my life like I want to? Am I pursuing my life like I want to? That's growth. Is it easy to grow? No. Because the world doesn't want you to grow, so it makes you stay in this little box where it's easy and it's simple and it's full of warm fuzzies. No. So changing this is going to be a little bit challenging for some people. Learning to back away from judgment and just love and accept is going to be hard. But I still encourage us to do it. And the best way we can do it is just be the example. Like, I'm going to love you no matter what. And if you judge me, I'm okay with that. But you know what? I'm not going to buy into it. And I'm not going to let you define who I am. I'm not going to let my actions, I'm not going to let you define them for me as right or wrong, good or bad, good or evil. I don't care. Okay? That's where I want us to get. So again, any comments, I would love to hear them. Please send me an email. thehealingfanatic@gmail.com. I'll put that in the comments below. Otherwise, I think I'm done for the day, done for the rant, but I hope this was enlightening for you and that it was engaging a little bit and that you may have come to some more awareness or something that you can do to begin improving. That's why I have this podcast. I'm going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but today I wanted to focus on judgment, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, my name's Aaron. Thanks for listening to my podcast. I appreciate the supporters, and please spread this message. Please spread this message. Our world needs to hear this, that we just need to find some more love and accept those who pursue it in their way. All right. All right. Take care, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon.